Hi again, everybody. I'm Tony Rizzuti here on MRN.com. I'm joined to my left by the host of NASCAR Today Midday, also NASCAR Coast to Coast, MRN play-by-play guy Kyle Rickey, and also joined by the host of NASCAR Today, Motorsports Monday. You also hear him on Pit Road, Woody Cain. And gents, a lot of talk coming out of Texas, not only about the race and the championship implications, but the brawl that happened after the race. Kyle, I know you were there. You were right in the middle of that scrum.
Yeah.
Was it as intense as it looked?
It was very intense. It started off not so much. I thought Jeff was going to get out, go over and talk to Brad, and everything was be okay. But then all of a sudden, it with the help of Kevin Harvick, got really intense, and yeah, I was concerned there for a little bit.
I think right now everybody's kind of wanting to place blame on someone, like who was to blame in all this. Throw this out to you guys. Brad seems to be getting the majority of it was his fault. Woody, do you believe it was Brad's fault?
I don't think so, because this format has made it so these guys have been told over and over and over again, you have to win, you have to win.
Yep.
We're in a green-white checker restart. He sees a gap and goes for it. That's what we've been telling these guys we want. That's what he did.
What do you think, Kyle?
Absolutely. Brad Keselowski did exactly what Brad Keselowski needed to do in that circumstance. Now, if it was lap 5 or 10, okay, don't do it. And he didn't. But with 5 laps to go, or in this case, a green-white checker restart, you can see the checkered flag, you can see the race lead, and potentially punch your ticket to Homestead. He did what exactly I think any other driver would have done.
So, Woody, I guess my question for you is, why was Jeff Gordon so mad then? Because he made it sound like this wasn't just an isolated incident, that Brad's kind of raced him a little bit different all year round.
That's his opinion of it, and I think part of it comes in Jeff Gordon's case from the frustration. Remember, he was leading and looking like he was going to win that race going away. Then his teammate, Kasey Kahne, spins out. Caution, we're all bunched up again. Then he restarts. He's side by side trying to inch out ahead of his teammate, Jimmie Johnson, and then here comes Brad Keselowski. So 2 times he looked like he had a shot to win this race, and something went wrong.
Kyle, you brought up Kevin Harvick,
yeah,
right? So certainly everybody looking at Brad and Jeff as being the big issues. But from your standpoint, would have all of that exploded the way it did had Harvick not Harvicking and pushed Brad into the fight?
I think it would have. I think Harvick accelerated it a little quicker, but Harvick was there kind of leaning on the back of Brad's car watching it develop.
Lurking,
exactly right. Brad started to pull away. Jeff, at the same time, was looking for a way to get through some of Brad's guys to get to him. Kevin then intercepted and pushed Brad, which got him just as where Jeff needed him. I think it would have blown up. I think Kevin accelerated the process.
Guys, take a look at this tweet that Brad Keselowski put out, basically saying that, look, at the end of the race, we had better tires. We were going for a win, going for a championship. At the end of the day, if you see a gap, you got to fill it or regret it forever. People are mad at Brad, but shouldn't we want all of our drivers to go for it at the end of the race like this?
Do you want to be that guy after the season who says, man, I wish I had tried to get in that gap? You don't want to leave anything on the table. You want to try everything you can under this format. You have to try and get those wins to advance. You can still get there by points. You can still get there by consistency, but that game is not the same as it used to be anymore. When you see an opportunity, you have to try and get it now.
And nobody's used to racing for championships like this, especially somebody like Jeff, who won all of his titles over 36 races. Here, it's race to race. Every race means something. I think Brad has that mentality. I don't know if Jeff does yet.
Obviously, penalties probably going to come down today. I know Robin Pemberton, NASCAR, saying they have their work cut out for them this week. Lots to work on. I think where people are maybe, at least from the fan base, confused is why do the crew guys need to get involved? Kyle, is that just something that's always going to happen? I mean, these guys they're tired, they're worn out, they put in the work as well.
They're still part of a team, though.
Right.
Yes, I think the crew guys are there to support their driver.
We're never going to be able to keep them out of it.
Unless you do, and this came up in the media center following the race, unless you do something like Formula One and the cars go in like a bullpen, drivers climb out in there, and nobody is allowed in that bullpen except for the drivers climbing out, maybe the crew chief and a few NASCAR officials.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Woody, any gut feeling on what might come down later today?
I really think, based on the precedent we saw from what happened at Charlotte, you saw Matt Kenseth run up behind and sort of half tackle Brad Keselowski. He didn't get penalized. Punching is going to be the real determining factor here, and that came from a couple of different crew guys.
Right.
One of them was leaning over a NASCAR official trying to throw these haymakers. I think they're really going to try and crack down on these crew guys because they were the ones who were throwing the punches. Yeah, Jeff Gordon made contact with Brad, but he grabbed his uniform and pulled. Those guys didn't throw any punches at all. I think the crew guys might get some real serious fines here.
Absolutely.
Do you think Kevin Harvick gets anything out of this, probation, anything?
No.
Boy, I don't know. I mean, one of the things that I keep going back to is remember what happened at Richmond between Casey Mears and Marcus Ambrose. Mears didn't throw a punch there either. However, they said he was instigating, initiating. And on that theory, you might be able to get Harvick on the match to gasoline theory if they want to go that far. But I don't think any of the drivers, even Harvick, would get any point penalties. It would be financial.
You expect any payback at Phoenix?
Boy.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Phoenix is
Phoenix
going to be
gonna
interesting.
crazy. Yeah. I think we're going to see some wildness there. Remember just a couple of years ago, we had Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer at Phoenix, so that may boil over again.
I mean, there's stuff building from New Hampshire. I mean, we had, 15, 16 cautions there. Charlotte, Texas, Martinsville, and it's all going to come together here in a couple of days in
This
Phoenix.
chase format has worked.
Yes.
It sure has.
It has ratcheted up the intensity. Well, it'll definitely be an exciting race at Phoenix this weekend. Of course, MRN will have the call on radio. And also, if you want to follow all of these storylines, you can do it right here at MRN.com. Of course, follow us in social media. At MRN Radio is our Twitter handle. Use the hashtag AskMRN to interact. Of course, you can like us on Facebook. Motor Racing Network is what you want to search for there. And with all of these stories, keep it tuned to NASCAR Today as well. I'm Tony Rizzuti. We'll talk to you next time here on MRN.com.